I recently found a bunch of old photos of mine from about 6 years ago, and I was so surprised because I really did not recognize myself anymore. Like, that is so different to the version that I am today. And my first thought was like, oh, maybe I was happier back then because there were just so many things that hadn't happened yet. But then I thought about it some more and I was like, oh, hell no. I am so happy that I have changed and that I'm not that version of myself anymore. I really struggled a lot with things like self-confidence and self-love and boundaries and self-worth. And now when I look at myself today, I'm really the clearest and strongest and most empowered version of myself that I've ever been. And I can say that because it has really been a very long journey and a very tough journey, and I'm very proud as to where I have arrived in it all. So today I wanted to share the 5 main lessons I feel I had to learn to get to where I am today, backed up with some personal stories from my life. And yeah, let's get right into it. Back then, I really thought that being a good person meant that I am always nice, and that really resulted in me very often just being pushed around by people or not having the ability to say no and stand up for myself. But the world is an interesting place, and I've had to work with and be with so many different kinds of people in the last years that I've really learned the skill of not always being nice or friendly, and how that doesn't mean that I am a bad person. I recently had the situation where I was out with my friends having a good time, and I had some drinks, and there was this person there who I knew fairly well, but not very well. And this person completely overstepped and misused a situation where they were fully aware that I was not entirely stable in that moment or able to say no in the ways that I normally would, to behave in really just inappropriate ways. Whatever happened that evening went entirely against what I believe to be right and not right, and also what I believe to be decent human behavior or what I'm okay with. And so the next day, when I realized what had happened, I wrote a very harsh message and blocked the person everywhere. And none of that was friendly or nice, but it was completely necessary. Being a good person is based on very different things than being friendly or nice all the time. I know people who are nice to everyone and they are not good people. And so those two things just don't have anything to do with each other. People will think of you what they want to think of you regardless. That is just something that I've accepted. It is the game of the world. There's nothing I can do about it. For example, I have had people tell me that I am too emotional and I overreact and I take things too seriously. And I've also had people tell me that I am fake and shallow. And so those are like both sides of the extremes. I have found so much strength and empowerment in just being whoever I want to be in that moment and really practicing that muscle. Doesn't matter what anyone else would think about it or what that voice at the back of my head tells me about it. So if I am upset for a whole day and crying the whole day about something that other people see as unnecessary, then that's me that day. And if I want to go out and party and dance for the whole weekend, then that's me that weekend. If I want to look cute and wear makeup, I'm gonna do that. If I want to walk around like a potato sack, I'm gonna do that. If I want to be productive or lazy, all aspects of me, I'm just gonna be whoever I want to be, because as I said, you anyway cannot please everyone. So then you just might as well be whoever you want to be. Relying on other people for things like validation and feeling good and self-love and fun is always a very dangerous game, because a lot of the time it makes us needy, and the only way to really not fall into that pattern is to learn how to give yourself those things. And that has been a very long journey for me, and I'm really still on that journey. But at the base of it, I really think it comes down to believing in yourself. Believing in yourself, not because you're perfect, but because you are uniquely you. As cheesy as it sounds, that really has been the base of it for me. In the past, I couldn't even upload a YouTube video of mine without asking minimum 5 different people what they think about it and if it's okay and if I should change something. Meanwhile, now I just create what I create. I don't show it to anyone. I upload it and then that's it for me. And I don't do that because I think it's perfect or because I think there can't be anything that could be changed, but because I know that if I mess up, then I'm going to mess up and then I'm going to learn from it. But I would rather have my confidence be based on the things that I have learned myself rather than the perceptions of other people. So really just self-sourcing things like self-love and self-respect and confidence. And for that, for example, I meditate to keep my own peace of mind. I push myself out of my comfort zone to have confidence. I have fun in life to love myself more. I spend time alone to get to know myself more. I have faith so that I trust in life. Just different things that you practice yourself that are really in this category of self-sourcing. It is so incredible how smart our bodies are, and I have gained so much confidence and empowerment from learning how to listen to my body and also how to trust what my body is telling me. For example, I recently had this interaction with someone that from the outside logically seemed completely normal. You would never think anything. Very normal person, no red flags, but in my body, I could feel that there was something completely off. And so I left that situation thinking like, that's weird. Why did I feel like that? Because it didn't seem like anything was going on. And then a couple of days later, I found out that this is a very problematic individual and someone who you would not want to be around with. And somehow some part of me just knew that in that moment. Listening to intuition from the mind can sometimes be a little bit misleading because we have a lot of thoughts that go on in the head and there can be projections, but I have felt that when my body is giving me a signal, I would say 10 out of 10 times, but we can say 9 out of 10 times because you never know, I am entirely right with what I'm sensing. And I've really found a lot of confidence in trusting that and knowing how to understand those signals. With this point, I really have this visual in my mind of just dancing in the rain and really having this attitude of that's just life, and sometimes it's sunny and sometimes it's rainy, but doesn't mean I can't have fun along the way. Honestly, I learned that skill in the moments where technically nothing was okay in my life, but I somehow found the strength and the skill to still have fun, whatever that meant for me in that moment. Have fun with the people I love, go dancing, be silly, laugh, make jokes, just like having fun in moments where maybe it's difficult to have fun. I cannot even begin to explain how much self-love and self-respect those moments where I managed that represent for me, because looking back, it is really the moments where I had the most fun in my life that matter most for me. But then to learn how to self-source that fun and create it for yourself, not having it rely entirely on other people, I just feel like once you get that, once you understand that skill, it just makes you invincible.